Welcome back here to Mountain Connections. Our next guest is one of my best friends on the show, and it's only fitting that I speak to him here on my last day here on the show for a few weeks. He's also the author of this book here, Employee 5.0, Secrets of a Successful Job Search in the New World Order. And we're also going to be speaking about communication in the recruiting realm. Mr. Bill Humbert, how are you doing today, sir?
Diego, I'm doing well, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. As I said, it's only fitting that you are here today to speak with me. I really, really appreciate it. You're always one of my favorite people to talk to. And today we're going to be speaking specifically about communication in the recruiting realm and how important it is to have clear communication from the very beginning.
Oh, it's so important.
So what are some of the issues that you come across regularly when you experience in the communication realm of the recruiting process?
Well, you know, technology is working its way through all of our lives and all of our places.
Absolutely.
And it's the same in the recruiting or talent attraction area. And the problem for companies is they're trying to save time wherever they can. I get that. But talent attraction instead of talent acquisition. Talent attraction requires speaking with people as opposed to
Yeah, the non-face-to-face interaction that I think we're all becoming so used to, and it's an unfortunate thing that we're all becoming too used to it. And as you said, many companies are leveraging technology to try and play the volume game and try and get as many offers out there as they can, rather than honing in, as you said, on the person that you really need for that position, the person that's really going to succeed. Is turnover a major problem with things like this? Because, as you said, you're not getting that face-to-face interaction. You're not getting that initial impression that is really important in the recruiting process.
Well, turnover is a big factor. Companies have, across the country right now, are dealing with a lot of turnover. And part of it goes back to employee engagement.
Yeah.
And employee engagement goes back to, is this person a good fit?
Absolutely.
And so if you're not doing a good job with speaking with the person while you're interviewing with them and working with them and talking to them during the process, then what happens is you lose face to how they actually communicate. So it's really important that you talk instead of text or email.
Absolutely. And what are the problems presented to the candidate if the recruiter is only doing communication through text and email and no face-to-face or even a phone call, a simple just a phone chat? What's the problems?
Well, one of them is that electronic communication, whether it be text or email, strip out all the emotion and tone from the conversation. That's how email wars get started.
It leads to miscommunication.
That's right, because you sent me a note and it was innocent. And I'm going, what?
Freaking out, right? Like thinking you're having to like defuse a bomb or something.
That's
like
right.
that. Yeah.
And so if we had a simple conversation, which probably wouldn't have taken as long as
the email exchange,
the two emails, it wouldn't have happened.
And how about on the other side of that? What's the problem presented to the recruiter if the candidate says maybe they want their offer in text, or if they're only communicating in text? What does that show the recruiter?
Well, it shows the recruiter that the person might not be wise, but on the other hand, maybe the recruiter's not wise. Maybe they will accept that. You know what? I'm not interested in finding out how fast the candidate can type.
That's a good point.
I don't care.
These are not the skills that I'm looking for, right?
That's right. I want the emotion and tone. I want to understand, do they feel like this is a position that's interesting to them? And if I'm getting the sense that it's not, it gives me an opportunity to ask some questions.
Some follow-ups, yeah.
Some follow-ups. And plus, I can possibly save the candidate because I've spoken with them in the past. You know, I've done my 1 hour long phone screen with them. I know what their interests are based on what they told me in the past. And if what they told me in the past doesn't match what it is that they're saying now I'm going to ask some questions.
That's time for a follow-up question
Right.
there. And I think this is especially important in positions like sales, where personality in communication is one of the biggest aspects to being successful in that position, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
you can be a great technical salesman and know all of the technicalities of the product or service that you're selling, but if you don't have that oomph of personality or charisma, or you're going to make sales, but you're not going to hit the targets that I'm sure that your company is looking for.
Exactly. One of the positions I'm recruiting for right now for HID Global, that cybersecurity company I was telling you about, is a sales and channels Latin America sales professional.
Yeah.
And you know, you just have to be careful when you're interviewing these people, because a lot of today's generation is used to these.
Yes.
And what happens? They want to use them, and I get that. But I also want to understand how they communicate, because how you communicate with me is how you're going to communicate over here with them.
With them as well, which is very important. I think another big thing that you were speaking about earlier is and we've talked about in other conversations, is cultivating that culture at your workplace, right? And is it difficult to get the person, the candidate, into that culture through the internet, through messaging and through email, rather than doing it in a personal onboarding way?
Well, you know, there's technology out there today where people, companies require people to have a video
Conference, yeah.
conference, but not even a conference. It's just a video software that asks 4 questions or
Oh,
5
really?
questions.
Wow.
And my problem with that software is that you're not able to ask the follow-up questions that are going to make so much more difference.
And these are the really important questions, because the questions that I'm sure that are being asked there are just the generals, right? They're the ones you're asking everyone, but those follow-ups are the ones that are really going to differentiate between who's the good candidates and who are the bad candidates.
Exactly. And so for me, there are companies out there that just want technology to do it. I get it. It's their culture.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've experienced in my life is that many great ideas are born from conversations.
Absolutely.
Not text.
Absolutely. 100%. Bill, thank you as always for another great topic. I got to ask you, what's coming up on your calendar? Do you have any more speaking events or anything like that?
You know, tomorrow I have a webinar. Next week I have a webinar. I'm speaking at Jim Sandy Auditorium in September, and I've got speeches through the fall and into the winter, so I'm excited.
Staying busy. I love it.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Bill. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon. And thanks again for always being such a great guest here on Mountain Connections. You got to be sure and head to a local bookstore here at Dolly's if you want to pick up this book, Employee 5.0 Secrets of a Successful Job Search in the New World Order. If you're not in Park City, you can pick it up at any major book retailer. You can find out more information as well as at recruiterguy.com. We'll be right back with much more right here on Mountain Connections.